Okay, this lesson for the Koine Project Klass, we consider one text, Matthew 11:20, and consider why a normal reading of the text, that is a literal, grammatical, noticing the speaker, what he said, why he said it, why it would lead us to believe that men could then and should then repent and can and should today repent, especially when a means of persuasion is performed, like miracles, for example. So back to our Koine Greek, Matthew 11:20, it speaks of Jesus, for example. So then, now we're just doing this freehand, so keep an eye out. We can correct later. It's by now you could be freehanding, and what you can freehand, go back and iterate that and then reiterate it. Deliberate practice. So he began, this is aorist. He began, and that's from that word ergomai. Those of you studying your vocabulary, you'll see that a lot. He began, and then this word is ane design. Now, you recognize this ending. It's a present infinitive here. It's to be upbraiding. Oh, we got an eye there. There we go. The cities, tas, polis. Notice the difference. This just has one letter added, but the cities, and then we have our preposition in, let's go over here, in which, I think that's that rough breather, in which I placed tie. I think that's right. In which the most dynamis, powers, and then it's genomai, that word genomai that we're very familiar with, like Haya in the Old Testament, come to be, genomai, dynamis, powers, egenanto, yes, came to be. This is aorist, came to be. And then here's very familiar, we'll recognize the Hody clause, because, in the word not. And here's the word of interest here, meta, this is where the augment is, meta, no, ason, there we go. This is aorist, this is third person plural. They did, of course, not's here, I'll just drop it here in brackets. They did not mind in association with. Now you notice how wordy this is. It's painful. And did not mind in association with him, of course, the powers, of course, and that was something. But when we go and look at this word upbraiding, first of all, it's continuous action. He began to continuously, in a sustained manner, let me see here, this word. One design, that infinitive. First, let me go to my blue letter. You can go to your blue letter Bible app. Of course, it takes a while for the camera to pick up on, but just hit the word there, and then you can look it up, and it's quite a Well, here it says to defame. So he's speaking in a word. Rail at, chide, taunt, a deserved reproach. Let me see. Yeah, again, in Thayer's it says reproach, upbraid. Let me see here. To upbraid, cast in one's teeth. It seems like it's a very strong, ferocious, if you will. It's Jesus lashing out at these cities, the cities in which the most powers came to be, because they did not mind in association with those powers. And you remember John chapter 20, verse 31, these things were written and remain on record. Well, it said earlier that many other signs did Jesus do, so many if the world had recorded, whether if they had been recorded on paper, the world couldn't contain them. But it says these particular signs have been written and remain on record in order that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name. And of course, the miracles in John's gospel were arranged and divinely decreed, sovereignly selected, and didactically formatted according to an intelligent inspiration process, so that the outcome would be that people would believe, and might believe more particularly, should believe, might believe, could believe. All those are in that subjunctive aorist there in John 20:31. But this is a strong term here, because we remember in Romans 2, verse 5, where it says impenitent. That is the word meta. Let me see if I can remember that word. It's got the alpha privative, the negative particle. And then it has meta. I don't know the ending there. Let me look that up really quick, because that would be good for us to see that, and to see that adjective there. I believe it's Romans. We'll look. Romans. If you get good at these apps, congratulations. I've never been able to. I mean, I use this one because it's the most simple, but still, it's meta. So we were rather close. We had most of it. We just need to add the ending. Aton. Now, this is an adjective. You knew that. I didn't have to tell you that. But what you notice here is it has this negative, this function here, this word that's particle, which shows the absence, or it's without a mind in association with. And as we saw in English, impenitent, this would be an unrepentant person, a person who negated in function a mind in association with. And this is the kind of heart they have. It's void of a mind in association with the persuasion, for example, the miracles in this text that were used. So enjoy this lesson, but this is probably why when you read the Bible, it would be Jesus' fault for us coming to the conclusion that as strong a rebuke as he gave, and a continuous action here of a word that's very strong and very descriptive of defaming, disgracing, shaming, upbraiding, a deserved reproach, it says. This is extraordinarily strong, those cities, because the expectation was there that not only they should have, but they could have. And you remember, this is not anthropomorphic, because this is Jesus in the flesh. This is the one Colossians 2:9 said, as we studied before, and you don't need to be reminded of it, but it's too easy to write that down. It said, in him, remember, aŭtō, in him, and that katoike is dwelling. And you remember it was emphatic, very universal. All to pleroma. And you can get used to that word. You get very familiar with it, especially when you read Gnostic texts. This is the fullness, taste, you remember this, taste of the and it's theotatos. Anyway, you can go check that out, but I believe that's correct. The Godhead. And then the emphasis here that I wanted to make was it says somatikos. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Omega, the adverbial form. There, bodily. So this is the fullness of the Godhead. This is the one in whom the fullness of the Godhead was pleased to dwell. He's lashing out, demonstrating a superlative disdain in an ongoing manner that he initiated here as a consequence triggered by their unwillingness here to mind in association with. So, and remember Colossians 2:9, or this fragment of it, Colossians 2:9. But anyway, this is why I said that you read the Koine text, you word it out, you start with your English, you go there, you look up the words, you look at what's being emphasized. But this is probably why a reader of the Bible and a person who notices Jesus' response to those who wouldn't, it would give us a rationale. That's our goal right now. Is in apologetics, we want a rationale for what we support, for what we assert, for what we adamantly affirm. Well, this is enough rationale. Here is Jesus' response to this and his rebuke, and it's a very strong one. And we don't have to look at figures of speech, anthropomorphism, anthropathism. No, this is the one, this is the Son of God in the flesh. This is the one in whom all the fullness of the Godhead is dwelling bodily. So it's remarkable, but it probably would give a good case for a rationale, which is all we have, and it's the only standard we have to. It's no higher standard. I don't need to placate the implacable or somehow appease someone who would rather go off script. But staying with the text, we have all the rationale we need in what Jesus said in just this one lesson. So have a blessed day. Enjoy this lesson.